So you just want to point out that at the start of 2020 we began a 10-year cycle. 2020 was the beginning of a new catalyzing moment within the human conscious field. Everything is due to be tipped upside down in order to create better circumstances through where we have been before. Humanity as a whole was on a precipice, falling upon a tipping point that was revealing that we either sank or we swam. The angels are pointing out to me that within the first energy field of 2020, we were in what we call the breaking open. So we were opening up to a new way of being through society. Now, as this is a 10-year cycle and it moves all the way into 2030, what is happening is that the change will be leveled through these years. It's not to say that it'll always be hard, but what it is to say is that the change is going to come through the 2020 period all the way through to 2029. The angels are saying that, so 2020 was the breaking open. We were all cracked open to feel the force of an inner turmoil that has been within human consciousness for many, many centuries. We've been asked to awaken to our true potential, as opposed to allowing outside forces to control, manipulate, and hold us in staying points that do not create deep evolutionary shifts. As we moved into 2021, a new light-filled consciousness was awakened. So more people started to see the truth of who they really are. Now, this isn't about what choices you made here. This isn't about individuals right now. This is about a deeper, higher conscious energy that collectively draws all humankind into one field. So that's an infinite field together, processing collectively in a cooperative way. And what the angels are saying through deep energetic frequency is that in order for us to move forward and upward, we are being asked with loving countenance, and we were being asked through 2021, to start to see that it's okay to be different. It's okay for some of us to think one way, while others of us think another way. The angels want to warn and herald, maybe not warn, maybe warn isn't the exact word. However, the angels want to point out here that if any of your thinking or believing or messengers came through a judgment process field, then it needs to be relooked at. For all energy now is required to be in deep loving energy consciousness so that we can step into a new way, a beautiful way of being within a human field. The angels want me to point out that what has been seen as a division amongst the people can be collectively cleaned and healed through an understanding. I asked them myself actually this morning, what can I do? Because as I go out on my normal day-to-day, a sort of anxiety starts to peak within my energy field, because there is something that is slightly off kilter within the world at large at the moment. And there is no stone that hasn't been unturned here, as this is a global issue, a global awakening, a global resetting, recalibration. And I said, what is it that I need to do? And I give you this message because I feel in deep love that this message will help you just as much as it helped me. The angels advised and brought through to me this beautiful tool. And they said, look, every time that you go out and that starts to peak, step into loving conscious energy. So step into your most loving self. See everything with the eyes of love. And they're giving me now the messengers of a little baby. How would you feel if you saw a little helpless baby that needed help? Step into that kind of energy field. Raise yourself into that potentiality. If for perchance, or for instance, judgment should elevate itself within you, or fear or questioning, remove that gently or thank it gently and step back into loving consciousness that is accepting that everyone's truth is the accurate truth to them, and there is no other that has the right to demand another to accept its truth. We cannot live in cooperation and collectivity if we do not understand that we are all different beings of nature, and therefore our choices and our beliefs and our ways of living will be different to one another. No two human is the same. No two human will ever be the same. Even twins categorize the fact that there is differences within the human consciousness field between different energies, and that is between different body consciousness energy. So as we move through from 2020 to 2021, we moved into that energy of recalibration, of awakening consciousness, of giving in. And that's if we did not resist that pull and that call to awaken our deep, true nature. As we move through 2021, when we're going into the new year of 2022, something is awakening to true alighting potential. We are being called through the energy of Gaia, through Mother Earth, to awaken our true physical perception. I'm also being guided here to share, ground your energy, really allow 2022 to help you to ground, to be of this earth, to be part of the cellular structure, to understand the ebbs and the flows of the tide, to recognize that beautiful breeze that lifts your hair and touches your skin. Allow yourself to really step into recognizing your place on this earth, your place. You are here, and therefore you are intended to be here, and there is love in that message. So it's to step into Gaia consciousness. It's just to step into grounding your full energy field, keeping it strong, strengthened, and powerful. I would say step into the energy of being more of the earth, so doing things that bring you down to that earth. So we're talking about gardening and being out in Mother Nature, connecting to that field, because for you, for now, it will awaken you to a deeper potential that's higher than where you've been. 2022 is also going to step us into bringing things together. So think to yourself, where is the separation? Bring collectivity and connectivity around that, and step into being with the soul that you love and care about. That is about understanding that we are all as one. It is to understand that there is no separation. It doesn't exist between us and any other, really. Not in real terms, not in true terms. There's always chords, and there's always a kind of fiery temperament of energy that connects each one of us, right? So step into understanding that. As you do that, it's about realizing the real reality. So as I say, those twos are bringing us all into one space, being of understanding. This is asking us to bring together everything and understand that another perspective, even if it's different to our own, is fine. I mean, there's people that love, I don't know, ice skating, and I'm not a lover of ice skating. Does that make me bad and them bad? Because we have a different choice. And I know it sounds trite using such a simple thing, yet all things, even if they're more political or more bureaucratic or stronger in element because they're a familial decision, or it doesn't mean everyone has to agree with each other. Love isn't about everyone thinking the same thing. Love is about recognizing that each one of us is allowed to step into our own generational story, our own journey, our own path, because this is the absolute necessary component as we move into 2022. It is understanding that we are connected to our own path, and everyone else's path is not our path, right? And that works on all levels, in all things. It doesn't matter what it is. There is no other that needs to support another person. We're not here to be heralded or wailed out, pulled out, or judged for not doing what another wants us to do, just so that we can, within ourselves, feel better about ourselves. I always used to say this when we had trigger points, me and my boyfriend, and it would be, I don't have to agree with you just to make you feel better about yourself. And I know that sounds hard, especially thinking of the climatic situation right now and the world conscious energy and field, yet the truth stands here. We have to be honest, we need to be really, really totally centered in on this, with the recognition that our truth doesn't have to be someone else's. It's never going to be, often in some cases. Not everyone has the same sexuality. Not everyone has the same viewpoints. Not everyone has the same beliefs. Not everyone has the same genetic history, material ancestry. Not everyone has the same historical background and familial patterning. And this is how we get to understand. There is no, we are all one, we do as each other, we aren't actually the Borg. We have collectivity and connectivity. What they do is they create a consensual connection through our understanding that each one of us brings something to the party. Each one of us brings something to life, and it's different, and the differences are there for a very specific reason. They are required, they are needed, so that we can reach a deeper evolutionary process, because without it we stay stuck in the energy field of the old order, which is really falling apart right now. The old order does not work. It's very patriarchal based. It's very dominant in control, manipulation, coercion, taking, and giving only if someone gave you something in return. The idea here is for us, each one of us, as we move into 2022, is to start to move into the energy of the neutral force. The neutral force is the masculine and feminine energy working in cohesion with each other, creating a deeper, higher aspect that brings all human beings into a total conscious energy that steps into higher living, that brings evolution through with love and with care and with no need for dominance or coercion, because it steps into love. And love doesn't know those things. It doesn't understand judgment. It doesn't understand control. It doesn't step into manipulation, because it recognizes each strand as its own strand doing its own thing. I very much doubt the flower wants to mess about with the branch or the leaf. I very much doubt the flower wants to influence what the leaf's doing. The leaf knows what it's doing. Allow the leaf to do what it needs to do, right? Just allowing each energy field to fuse and play the way it needs to fuse and play, and allowing other energy fields to do the same. This isn't about control or telling other people what to do, or even trying to coerce other people. But when we step into coercion through our own fear stories and our own worry, then what we're actually doing is being on the other side of love, which isn't of light. So as 2022 grounds in, the energy, like I say, it's about a grounding of ourselves to Mother Earth, connecting to Gaia. But while we're doing that, it's also about connecting to the upper conscious energy, which is the higher energy fields. And that brings us through to masters such as Jesus and Kuan Yin and Mother Mary, and stepping into stronger energy fields of energy that was of this earth, but it isn't right now. But it's stepping into our purest form of cohesion, of understanding what life is really about. 2022 also brings in the real warmth of love. There's a deep loving component coming through. Now it's interesting, very interesting what they're actually saying to me right now. Although it does that, be really aware that you might find being and giving of love very difficult, because you're being tested in this area. We're being asked to step into true loving energy. We have the whole 12 months to build up our resilience and our source code of energy that is in love. 2022 is also a catalyzing year. It's an open door year. What it means is that we are moving through a growth process. We're moving through evolutionary development, and as we move through that, we awaken to a deeper light energy field. Now, it's going to be, as with all the years, if we hold on to resistance, then resistance is what we're going to get. Resistance is actually fairly pointless right now in some ways, because the energy is like a gust of wind that is going to blow everything away that isn't needed, or a tide that comes in so fast that as it pours out, it takes the things that no longer need to be there. The force of this is going to be quite something. Whether we notice it or not is another matter, but it's all going to be about the inner energy field of the human psyche being moved into a new, higher conscious energy, right? Now, that doesn't just align with the person, it also aligns with the earth, it aligns with the air, it aligns with all of our nature, our animals, our kingdom. The kingdom in and of itself as a whole is rising into a deeper aspect, which is so much more, what I'm getting is it's so much more apparent. We're going to be able to see that in a deeper way, right? Now, they're also pointing out a kind of tiredness that's going to come from 2020, 2021 into 2022. I'm being asked to give you the message that to move through that tiredness, one is to step into dealing with their own issues solely. It's a very strong message. The message is to deal with your own stuff solely. This is to be non-committal about anyone else's choices. Whatever anyone else is doing is to step away from even thinking about that while you're stepping into your own energy field and cleaning up house. I'm being given a very strong message of this cleaning up of house, okay? They're also saying to me to align with the energy of the 20 and the 2022. 20 has one energy field around it, and 2022 has another energy field around it. There is the potential for achieving more in this year because of the energy of the number, the numerology around that, right? It's really stepping us into a deeper wave of walking on this earth with a more awakened state. The awakened state always steps into love. So the awakened state removes itself from fear, from succumbing to things it doesn't want to succumb to, negativity, untruth, irresponsibility, resistance, standing in the way of progression just because it doesn't like change, egoic thinking, adding in that selfish, coercive, manipulative space. Those things have to go in order to move into this new energy, because this new energy cannot support it, and it won't support it. It asks all of us to step into a new divine intelligence system that is the energy of it is high. It's a high potential energy that we can all access if we're willing to. You will not be able to access these energy fields, I'm being told to say, if you stay in those old, outmoded, real, low vibration conscious energy. You will stay stuck, and that stuckness is not evolution, it's actually stagnation. So that stagnation will pour cold water over your dreams and your desires if you stay stuck in it. As we force to move forward and we move through, if we try to move forward with resistance will build up and it will get stronger. 2022 is going to make that very clear to us. Regardless of whether we want it to or not, it's going to reframe that in our reference field. We will be called to answer the truth within us. Other things I'm getting for 2022 is the coming together of collective. So it's not just collective, it's also going to be about relationship, family, harmony, stepping into a divine intelligence field that is of light. So that's coming through as well. And that's going to raise up if we allow it to. Potential is there. What I'm getting through, the angels are saying really, really strongly here is that as that energy is being given to us, it's our choice whether we take it, because of free will. So we don't have to take it, yet it's there. I'm also being directed to guide on the loving energy of the feminine, the masculine, and also a new energy field I'm being asked to bring through. The old traditional energy of the female and the male was very different to the one we've been raised to think or believe through most societies. And there may be some cultures across the world that haven't had this old energy field. However, most societies have had the older energy field. The old energy field was very interesting, and I'm saying it now because this is the energy field we're currently in. The energy field was that the women gave and men received. It's incorrect. The new idea moves us to a deeper aspect. The male gives and the female receives. It's exactly how it's supposed to be. It's exactly how it was always supposed to be. If we look at the hunter-gatherer ideology, we move into old tribal looking. The men went out and they hunted, and then they gave to the women who then received. Regardless of how you want to spin that, it's how it works. Men give, women receive. So through that energy field and starting to move into that deeper conscious energy, the tip of the axis, that small tipping point, will start to elevate into a more grounded position, which then means it balances out, creating the scales of justice, which will move through everything quite strongly in 2022. They're telling me now there's going to be a great purging as well. it isn't going to feel fantastic, because obviously that's going to bring in heaviness, tiredness, the energy of feeling overwhelmed. And it's fine to stay in that energy field through love and to be in conscious connection energy, so that you can get through that new change, because a lot is going to have to fall by the wayside in order to raise that new potential. Now, before I'm asked, that new potential is not feminine, so matriarchy, as opposed to patriarchy. This is about a patriarchal, matriarchal system that fuses and plays together and creates such a deep reflective knowing that the whole of society can live in a more profound way together with love and in conscious. What they're saying is not asleep, so awakened consciousness, or alive, more awake. So they're showing me this beautiful seed that's planted, that's glowing as it grows, and this is kind of where we're going. We are going to grow as the seed. Think of the masculine as the branches, think of the feminine as the leaves, and then the flower is the fusing of the two. And this is going to bring us into understanding a deeper aspect for the human race as a whole. Right? So 2022 steps into that energy. It asks us to let go of that which no longer serves us, not just on an individual level, but on a human, societal, whole humankind level, the human family. It's time for it to step into golden consciousness, stepping into a conscious awakening through that light, because there's going to be a pure light being surfaced through this. So as we move from that, I want to just go into 2023 just a tiny bit. I'll come back to 2022 in a moment. We're going to be moving into a very spiritual dominance in 2023. But I do want you to, because I'm giving you a little bit of an overview here, I do want to remember that 2022 is the opening gateway. It's the first stability. It's about creating security, safety, security within our collective field. Collective conscious is about all of us. It's about reunification. We need to reunify. Division needs to be put to an end. So we step into a really together energy where we accept that some of us want to live one way and some of us want to think another way. There's nothing wrong with it. Each one of us to our own here. As we move into 2023, we're going to move up in that energy. It's a very similar energy field, very similar grounding energy, about understanding our issues around relationship and sexuality will move in, and we'll move into that in a sort of deeper way. As we move then upwards, things start to change more. But for 2022, it's really about stepping into that light-filled energy. As I say with everything, and this isn't just the angels now, this is me too, as I say, we really need to get our own inner house in order before we step out. And also, and this is a really important element and aspect that they're bringing through right now, this is something that really needs to be taken note of. We don't get to guide, decide, or tell anyone how to live their life when we're not doing very well at our own, right? They're saying this in quite strong words and quite sort of deep language here. The language is very strong. It is that we don't get to do that. That is not acceptable. It's not of light, and it's not of upper human consciousness. Upper human consciousness is not a directional force. It is a flowing force. It's subject to change, but it always allows the individual aspect to make its own decisions. When there's outside forces trying to manipulate and coerce individual inner forces, we're stepping into toxic energy that needs to be curbed at all costs, especially in 2022, because the foundation we are going to build through that year is going to be a strong, supportive one, where we all work in alignment through love with one another. It's a very deep message for 2022 that we step into that understanding of a deep, loving energy field that we work with together, we create from together, we develop deep coding of answers, really, deep coding of knowing what's right, what's wrong, what serves, what doesn't. And it's about they're showing me the energy field of the Trinity, the Triad. They're showing me the energy field of the idea of us with somebody that we may be very, very strongly close to, and the Trinity. So effectively stepping into God consciousness, whether you believe in God or not. This isn't about God as in the way we've been told God is. The angels are saying, no, this is an energy field of real high vibration light that connects you to everything and all that is. This Trinity is going to help you to move forward in a deeper, stronger way. It will protect you. You are now protected, because when you step into that Trinity field, you can step into this very deep, strong protective mechanism that will hold you, whether you want it to or not. It will hold you so long as you connect to the whole of that triangle and stay safe in that space. They're asking me to point out the three. 2022 has 3 2s in it, so they're bringing through the number 3, and they're saying that links to that, the Trinity, the Triad, and the 3, and they're bringing it together in the energy of that God conscious energy in a way, by that energy field, because it's here to protect us, and it is going to help us to move into a new energy in all totality. So they're saying to me to say to you guys to step into a deeper reflection of yourself. Also, around the 2s, they're calling upon each individual soul to step into the first alignment coding of awakening your true potential light. So even if you've already been doing this, that's all fine, but this is just for those of you who haven't maybe stepped into that, to step into that coding. Those of you who've already stepped into that coding, they're asking me to show you a deeper light conscious energy to step further into that. So where you're afraid to go, to start looking into that area and taking steps in that area, because it is going to help you to awaken your deep reflective consciousness. So that is the field right now. So the 2020, 21 to 2022. Obviously next year I'll bring in the energies of 2023 and 2024, and we will keep looking at what's happening in the greater aspect throughout these next years. We're going, like I say, all the way through to 2029, which will bring us to the transmutation, alchemy, and change. There's going to be quite a lot of that in that year, but it's a little ways off yet, because it's going to bring us the alchemy of a foundation, a support structure, which then takes us into that alchemy in the 2030. Because as I say, it's 2022, 2030. So that's kind of going to bring that down. But yeah, that's it. That's it for the 2022 musings from the angels. Namaste, everyone. Thank you for listening, and take care. And you do give yourself that time to reflect on what you'd like to change. I think often we are afraid to move into change because we think that life should stay where it is. Life never stays where it is, and if anything we've been shown through 2020 and 2021 is that all of life is constantly malleable, subject to flow and change. So if we give into that change and we start moving in an energy field where we're accepting of that, then we can create potential waves that are massive and make huge changes in much shorter ways. Also, just before I go, they're saying that this steps into manifestation work and prowess. So if you do have some alchemy and manifestation capabilities, do bring that through in 2022 and start to work on that energy field. Anyway, once again, namaste, take care, and I'm sending you so much love and happy new year for a wonderful 2020.